Hi, today it's 10 Lords a-leaping. Now, in some ways this was the slowest burning of all of the builds, and indeed today is the 3rd of January, so it's only a couple of days before it's due to go out, and I hadn't even started the video, and it was only a day or two ago that I actually found a solution to what I wanted to build, and it's turned out to be a very simple and straightforward one, but it was just getting there that's taken the time. Starting with the Lords a-leaping thing, it is generally sort of seems to be accepted wisdom that this is a reference to lords and ladies who have the large stately homes in which there is usually a gallery, probably the full width of the property, in which they can take exercise, promenade when the weather's bad, so they don't have to get their shoes muddy. And one of the things that they think that this has come from is leapfrogging and vaulting down the length of the long gallery. Now that led me in several sort of areas. I couldn't think of anything particularly frog related, but when you start getting onto vaulting, I looked at barrel vaults, barrels, whiskey barrels, making things out of whiskey barrel staves, all sorts of things like that. But there's a build tomorrow that relates to whiskey as well, so that was a little bit too close. And then I found that the word vault comes, amongst other things, from Latin volvere, which is to roll or rotate, and it was there that the idea finally came from, to have something that rolls. And that got me onto things a bit more familiar territory, and I started to think, up until, as I say, a few days ago, that the idea would be to build a rolling cart for my belt and spindle sander. Problem with that is twofold. Firstly, it's a fairly complex build because it'll need a drawer in it to take all the bits and pieces, and secondly, I'm not sure I've really got the room for it in here. I'm already down to about 12 square feet of floor space. Another couple of feet taken out of that is going to make it even more difficult, so I'd probably be better to tidy up and find somewhere else for the belt and spindle sander than building another new cart. And also the fact that you've seen me build carts before. So there it lay until, as I say, a couple of days ago I was all set to go down the route of doing just that and building a cart for the spindle sander. And then the blindingly obvious hit me straight in the face. For the work in my wife's workroom, we had bought about 2-3 months ago anyway, we'd bought a new cart for my wife to put a lot of her sewing things and ironing bits and pieces in, to go in her workroom to move it, be able to move it round. And effectively it's an IKEA rolling cart. It's been sitting in the conservatory since, as I say, probably November, maybe even October. I can't remember when we went up there and got it, and I'd completely missed the fact that I'd got it. It's completely passed me by. So in practice of what I was preaching a few weeks ago about finishing off the little jobs, I'm going to put that together and see how long it takes us to put that together as a little rolling cart for her. Right, so there we go, that's the Raskog tray. One of the reasons I got this was that it was worth looking at for putting in workshops as well as a craft room. Looked a useful bit of kit. We will see what the difference is when we've not got something made out of cardboard. Basically there are 3 metal trays, quite substantial, and they're supported on a framework with casters on it. That's the piece of kit. Shouldn't be that difficult to assemble. I'm assuming there's a few screws involved, but not a lot. A spanner by the look of it. So we've got 3 trays, as I say, in white. They do it in 2 or 3 other colours, but I think we felt because the room itself is being done in blues and whites, we'd work with the white. 2 legs, or side supports, 2 more side supports, some kilby bits, and yet another tray. Again, I assume they're all exactly the same. The trays look to be identical. So, some pieces that will no doubt clamp the frames to the sides. 4 casters. And some nuts and bolts. The only thing I can say that's probably more positive than a lot of suppliers is that they do seem to be cutting down a lot on the plastic packaging. I understand they're starting to use some sort of a mushroom compost to pack things in there instead of polystyrene. So for all their berated, they are trying to do some good, I think. All the pieces out. First of all, check what we've got. 6 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 nuts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 set screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 casters, a spanner, 2 spanners. Make sure I've got 2 spanners. They are identical. So if ever there was, I suppose you need 1 on each side. I was going to say if ever there was a waste of time, that's it, but perhaps not. So what we've got to do is take those which are capped, which are the ends. Yep. Push those into those. Ah, yes. Then the little set screws go in there. So we need a Phillips crosshead for that. And we put together the curved base pieces. Left and right. I've got a twist lock on. It's fairly straightforward. And then those go flat on the ground. Like that. And we drop those. So then we drop a tray from the top down. And locate it with a bolt through the gap. There's a little flange there for it. So that middle one can slide up or down, that's not so bad, because you're not likely to want the lower one to be any lower than the bottom, or the top one any lower than the top, so it does make some sense. That's it. Now I see the reason for the two spanners coming up. Only 4 pieces left, and I can now see what they're doing. There's a levelling screw here with a lock nut on it as well. So you effectively screw that one in to the threaded inserts. And then once that's done, you put one on one part, one nut, one on the other, and that will effectively lock it up tight. Brilliant. And that's it. One Raskog tray, which would be pretty useful in the workshop. Tool caddy, mobile base, certainly worth considering if you're looking for something in the workshop. So there we have it, one useful workbench caddy for this workroom, but also it might be useful in your shed or workspace of your own. Hope you enjoyed the build. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow when we're on to 10 pipers piping. See you then. Bye.